Tong got wind of it.
Of course he did. He's got his ear to the ground.
Did a big shout out. 2,000 drunkards turned up.
What?
4 bouncers completely overwhelmed. Mansion trashed. 18th birthday party ruined.
What?
Yeah, no, that sounds unfair to me, because Tong is taking the rap here.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he's entirely to blame.
Shout out. He gave the shout out.
No, he did, but I think
It sounds to me like Tom gave a shout out, so I don't know
Can't take
what.
back a shout out once you shout it out.
And Tong's got power, I'm not denying.
Yeah, he's got
of
power
Tong.
to mobilise 2,000 drunks.
That's not the argument.
That's incredible power.
That's not why I'm piping up, but I think the internet is to blame. I believe that this was publicised on a well-known social networking site. There are many available.
Right.
A few days prior to this, so Tong might have added. But what did you say, Harry? 2,000?
2,000.
I'm reckoning 173 of those were Tong-related. So that leaves more than 1,800 internet-related drunken teenagers. Tong is a small player.
You feel Tong's being scapegoated once again, but the internet is getting off scot-free.
I'm furious with the internet.
It's so often the way, isn't it? The internet is never having its wrists slapped.
No.
It's just getting away with all kinds of nonsense.
Yes, it needs to be punished.
There's crimes of all kinds going unpunished, the internet's involved with.
But what's odd about this story is not only was the mansion trashed, but the daughter whose birthday it was, her butcher's shop window got smashed as well. If we can link Tong to the butcher's shop window smashing, then we can really sort of pin him down in
Is this a witch hunt against Tong?
Yes, it is. It's about time Tong had. He's had enough fun dancing in Ibiza or remixing tunes and the like. He's about time he had his comeuppance.
He's abusing all that power he's got.
Exactly. He's got
so much power.
I think the whole story has been set up in order to just create a classic Sun headline. They've got it all mapped out. It's all gone a bit Pete Tong, and they're thinking, we need a story to go with this headline.
Wasn't that that was the plot of the world?
Was Pete Tong involved? I never saw it.
I'm sure his filthy hands are involved somewhere along the line,
Yeah.
But it was a media mogul who began to create the news so that he could have the exclusive splash on it.
This, of course, gives Tong all kinds of sort of rock and roll street cred, doesn't it? Perhaps, I don't want to accuse Tong of anything, but perhaps his career is a little on the wane. Maybe it was what he once. No, I'm not saying. All I'm saying is he once was. He has got power, but you don't hear about his power as often now.
He must be cracking on a bit as well these days.
He's got to be in his 50s, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's
at
getting
least.
embarrassing now. You can't go
It's
down
like
to a club. You can't go down to a club and see a man behind the decks who's aging, 15. It looks like your dad.
No.
That's cripplingly embarrassing.
He's not young and vital like us.
Exactly. So, if you've got any information on the party or Tong's involvement in it, apparently Tong's had his fingers in it.
Was he seen in the area in the weeks beforehand?
Cackling jackass style. But more interestingly, what this tells me is if how often I went to a party the other night and someone had dropped out of the party. It was supposed to be a double header, and someone had dropped out, and of course you've got a minimum bar spend, and you've got to get people down. So are you having a party? You've just not got enough friends. You've got a minimum bar spend. You need a shout out from us. We don't mind giving you a shout
on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, no, but it could be for a party in the week.
Yeah,
maybe it's a Sunday afternoon party. That's a great time to have a party.
Just a family barbecue.
Just a family barbecue. You need more people to come along.
Maybe an uncle's been arrested. You need to get numbers up.
Exactly. So, if you've got any parties or social occasions, you need a few more people to come along. We're happy to give out a big shout out. Not a problem. Okay, so each week my little gang here recommends tunes to me, songs I may be familiar with or not, or new music, whatever. And Sammy, you're first up.
You probably are familiar with this one, to be fair. I picked this under our general new music brief.
Okay.
That I thought people, maybe listeners my age, may not be familiar with this song.
Perfect.
And I'd like them to be. Though sadly I did meet someone on the train today and he knew the song inside out, played it in a band and he was my age. Very lovely chap, but it made me feel a little less comfortable with playing the song. Anyway, it's Use Me by Bill Withers.
Use Me by Bill Withers. It's obviously a very famous tune, but
It is.
You're right, there could be 15-year-olds right now sat at home who are just about to have their minds altered forever.
One can only hope.
I once saw a young child in a why are you giggling like that? You're not allowed to say you once saw a young child. That's what happened in modern society. You can't even see a young child anymore. No, I saw a young child once, and anyway, we were in the. It was. Look, come on, this is crazy. Look, if you want, man wants to speak, the man wants to speak. He can be trusted. Jude's now turning down Harry's microphone. So fearful is she of what he might utter. Listen, let's just play this. Sammy's choice on the Steve Show this week. That's Use Me from Bill Withers. Back with Switches after this.
6 Music.
from last year's album. That's Switches and Lay Down the Law on the Steve Show, BBC Six Music with me, Steve Merchant. Coming up on the show, I should forewarn you that I don't know why it should be a warning. It should be a massive treat. But Beth Riley is going to be here performing live for us in the studio. Plus, also we'll be speaking to Robin Ince, who has a Radio 4 program this week, which I think will intrigue a lot of the Six Music listeners, particularly if you are a obsessive music collector such as Tiny Dan. It's a horror story of sorts, and his battle with that horror story. Much discussion here in the studio about whether one says shout outs or shouts outs. You're still very alarmed by that, Rufus.
I don't think you say shouts out, Steve.
Okay, you never say shout outs.
No. I'm sticking by my guns on shouts out. Maybe people emailing. Maybe a quick phone vote. Text in 64046. Shouts out or shout out.
What other examples of common grammatical errors could you give us that are on the same lines?
Well, the few that I listed to Dan were obviously courts martial instead of court marshals. Passers by. You don't say passerbys, do you?
Sure.
Gins and tonic, not gin and tonics. I'm being.
So you say gins and tonics? Like, can I have 3 gins and tonics?
Gins and tonic.
Okay.
You can't have more
but
than.
Why is the tonic naturally plural?
Oh, because it's an adjective, not a noun.
Okay. But what's an adjective?
It's a word that describes a noun.
And a noun? You think I'm joking, but I'm not, because I missed this class and I never got taught what all those different words mean.
Really?
Noun, what's a doing word?
A verb.
A verb.
Yeah.
That's a doing word. And what's a noun?
A noun is a thing.
It's a thing, an object. Why can't it just be a thing word?
I don't know, Steve.
Okay, fair enough. Rufus, it's your musical choice before we get to the news. What have you got for us?
I've got a track by Fountains of Wayne. This is a track from and it's called it's got a reference to Christopher Walken in it, which is one of the reasons I like the song so much, and I want people to listen out for the reference, but first of all think about what word they're going to rhyme with Walken, and it's Hackensack.
Rufus's choice on the Steve Show. What was that, Ruf?
That was Fountains of Wayne with Hackensack. The word Christopher Walken didn't rhyme with Balkans, as suggested by Harry, but with Talken, as suggested by Dan.
Is that allowed? Talking, Walken?
I think we'll have that, yeah. It's a half rhyme.
All right, that's a half rhyme. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, we're back after the news with a session live in the studio here with Beth Rowley, and also we're talking to comedian Robin Ince. Back shortly after the news.
On digital.
iPunk Vampire Weekend, Steve Show, BBC Six Music, with me, Steve Merchant, pressing the buttons. Rock and roll, Pete Tong style. Sorry, yes, we were still. I mean, I know this is probably tiresome to those of you who don't care, like me, but apparently, if people do care about the English language, then there is still much controversy. Gin and tonics, tonics and gin. Gin and tonic, gins and tonics. Hello, can I have 3 gins and tonic, please? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Rufus, you explain.
This won't take long.
Confident.
It started with Harry's story about someone giving some shout-outs, which obviously made every right-thinking Englishman's skin crawl. Of course. The words would be shouts out, obviously.
Sure.
I went on to try and to prove this by talking about attorneys general, courts martial, and gins and tonic. But I've been slammed not only by producer Jude, but by someone on the text, Harry, haven't I?
Well, you've got to understand, Ruth, that the Steve Show listenership is basically students, so they watch a lot of Countdown. They know what they're talking about. Mike has texted in and said that tonic is a noun, and if you accept gin and tonic as a drink, then the plural is gin and tonics.
I contest that tonic is a noun. I think it's an adjective, but that might be something for next week.
And how can we resolve this? What kind of brainiac would have the final word? Is Stephen Fry listening? Get in touch, Stephen. 64516. Who would you trust? Who I don't know who we can
Susie
turn
Dent. She'd know.
to. Who's Susie Dent?
Yeah.
She is an etymologist, sometimes used on Countdown in Dictionary Corner.
How can we get Denty on the line?
Any call in 64446 on the text, Stephen.merchant at something radio.
But this is going to drive us insane now, because I mean, this is, as you say, the sort of thing that really antagonises people. If you think they don't like, us on this station, and one thing they don't like is poor use of language. That really drives them insane. Okay, so if you can help us at all, and we just need someone who really is a brainiac who will be able to offer the final word on gins and tonic, tonic and gin and tonic. I don't even order gin and tonic, never a problem for me. Harry, it's your musical choice.
Yeah, over the last few weeks, Steve, I brought in some quite rocking righteous jams, and people have been loving them, naturally. However, I'm going to slow it down a little bit this week with a guy from Memphis, Tennessee called Harlan T. Bobo. And this track is called Bottle and Hotel. It's basically about having a bit of a row with your missus and then going to a hotel and patching it up with her.
Woo, sexy. Perfect music if you need to patch up your relationship with your wife in a motel. What was it, Har?
That was Bottle and Hotel by Harlan T. Bobo off his album Too Much Love. Apparently he's got a new album out called something else, and I haven't heard it yet. It's called I'm Your Man.
Okay, I look forward to that enormously. I went to see some live music last night. I'm always seeking out live music, as you know. But I'm not the only person, and I know we were hoping to have a little précis from a couple of our guys here who've been to see live music recently. Again, if you need an opinion, maybe need to pass it off as your own. Sammy, who did you go and see live recently?
Hot Chip.
Hot Chip, very much the band of the moment. What was your take on them?
They were startlingly good. A lot of it was done live, which I enjoyed. What I didn't enjoy was the fact that, being quite a short lass, the bar at the very front of the gig rested neatly on my bosoms, and I spent the whole night getting chest bruises.
Really?
Yes.
That's really what you take from that gig then, chest bruises?
That is what I'm going to remember, because you remember pain. The other thing I would say is that they played probably a bit too much of the slow stuff when you're expecting to go to a dance gig. I'd worn sunglasses. That's the vibe I was going for. I was wrong to wear those sunglasses and was laughed at publicly. But they were really good, and I did see the singer smile, contrary to his sour puss background. He did actually crack a smile, so that was nice.
It's very, very wrong, I think, to sort of cheapen music by evaluating it on a point system, but out of 10?
Of 10, 7.
Seven,
Yeah.
not bad at all. Harry, you went to see live music recently, didn't you?
Well, I had tickets to go and see Black Kids on Thursday night at the ICA. Big sold-out show. It was the second night of their little stint. Unfortunately, work had put on a bingo night on Wednesday, and it'd been quite a late one. And then, in work all day, the lights were really bright in the office, so I gave the tickets away. But I gave...
Whoa! Slow down! I imagine you got those tickets through Six Music.
No, I paid for them.
Oh, all right then.
So I was giving
Loser.
the gift of new music to someone. So if you did go to the Black Kids gig, please let us know how good it was. But I did see Billy Bragg the week before, which was spectacular. Really, really good show. Just him and his guitar. And I saw him afterwards, and I shouted out, "Bill, I'll see you for Super Sunday." And of course, he had no idea what I was talking about, because it's probably not Super Sunday for him.
No, just another Sunday for him.
Yeah.
When is Super Sunday? Is it April 20th?
Yep.
April 20th on the Steve Show. We got 2 live sessions here. We've got Gary Lewis, is that right? Formerly of
Jayhawks.
the Jayhawks. You love the Jayhawks, don't you? Oh, we love them. Plus we've got Billy Bragg as well, so I look forward to that. Live music coming up in the show as well from Beth Riley today. Last night I went to see hot young artist, promising future, Neil Young. And no, it was a sold out gig. It was standing room only. Me having to stand, can you imagine? It was appalling. I actually sat on the floor as a sort of dirty protest. It was, I'll tell you, no, it was dirty because it was filthy. It was just, there was chewing gum I had in my hair at one point because it was on the wall. It was horrible. Someone stood on my foot. It was a nightmare. But me, someone standing on my foot. Can you imagine? But anyway, broke into 2 halves. Electric set in the second half. Frankly, I feel Neil's a little bit too old for the electric. Really rocking. I mean, he does it fine, but it's starting to look a little bit kind of, you know, just like, it looks like your dad rocking. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh come on, man. You know. But first half, he did a brilliant acoustic session. Just him and the guitar and the piano, and I have to say it was hypnotic. It's truly hypnotic. So big thumbs up to Neil. I give him 7 as well.
So he's as good as Hot Chip?
Yeah, he's as good as Hot
Imagine that.
Imagine. We'll have some Neil Young after we've heard from this.
Live music. Live music. Six music.
So I thought I'd play some Neil Young, and here's the track Powderfinger. Have a listen to it because it's got a kind of story set in the Old West. It's about a young guy. He's forced to sort of defend his homestead against some people who are attacking, not entirely sure why. You think it's going to be a courageous story of a man fighting off the enemy single-handedly, but actually no, it's a story of sort of desperation, existential torment, and it's set with some sort of grungy guitars as well, so it's perfect. Neil Young, Powderfinger from the album Rust Never Sleeps. So it's Steve Show, BBC 6 Music, and as I mentioned earlier, Robin Ince, comedian, writer, has a forthcoming Radio 4 programme. I will let him explain its content, but I think it will appeal to every 6 Music listener who is a anal, obsessive archivist of music. Hey Robin, are you there?